Well, here we go. It is week 20 in our series of Dream Whiskies Wednesday night live broadcasts. That's not week 20 since the very beginning, all those years ago, but week 20 since we changed the way we do things and do this broadcast every week. So hi, how are you doing? It is 7 o'clock here in the UK. Not sure what time it is where you are because, of course, you could be anywhere in the world right now. But good to see you if you are joining us. As ever, we have a packed program up for grabs this evening. We're going to tell you who our winners were from last week's competitions. Of course, we got our Geek of the Week competition. I've got an announcement to make, which sounds sort of dramatic, really, but it's not that dramatic. I've got two amazing cocktails that I'm going to make for you this evening. Plus, of course, we've got our Mix With Me cocktail, which hopefully you've picked up the information and you've got some bits and pieces so you can mix along with me. Let's see who has joined us. So, Michael Nolan's there. Hi, how are you doing? Steve Simpson, how are you doing? Paul Slade and Simi is in early. Nice to see you, Simi. Good to see you. Who else is there? Oh, Kieran's there as well. Cheryl, of course. Jeff has joined us. Steve, what's going on? Adrian, how are you? And Bruce, it wouldn't be the same without Bruce. And John Matthews is there as well. I don't know if he's going to work out how to talk to me, but I know you are there. John, hi, how are you doing? All right, so loads of things up for grabs, but you know what we do first thing up on these broadcasts? We start with a little drink. I'm going to have a drink. You need to have a drink, and you need to tell me what you're drinking with me. This week, I've got this Puree on the go. It's 10-year-old. It's a triple cask matured, aged in Oloroso sherry and virgin oak casks. So I don't know if you've ever tried this. I guess many of you have, but quite delicious. There we go. Just show you the label. How's that? Sort of flaring a bit under the lights, isn't it? But I'm going to get that on the go because you can't broadcast a Dream Whiskies broadcast without a whiskey. So cheers to you all, everyone that has joined us. Oh, loving that. Oh, really nice. It's right in my sort of Speyside sweet spot, I would say, in terms of style. Barry, not here. Always good to know you're not around. Kat, how are you? What else have we got here? Don't forget the whiskey cocktail course. I won't forget the whiskey cocktail course. I'm going to make sure that I'm going to do that announcement soon. Already Richard Webster, who we all know is Michael now. David, how are you doing? David Rose. Bruce, what's that? Some asterisks and things working. Have to skip the drink. Wow. But you're working and you're still on with us, which is a good thing, I think. So whatever it is you're doing, if it allows you to do this, it's great. Steve, you got an error like Lindsay on the go. Wow. Liking that. Tell us a little bit more about it. Paul Musson, how are you doing? 16-year-old Lagavulin. Actually, I'm a big fan. I've got a bottle of it up there somewhere, and yeah, love a bit of Lagavulin. Actually, I know a few of you like Lagavulin. Kieran's got a Jura 12. He can't do much better than the Jura 12, I think, anyway. And of course, John Matthews. I'm on Tullibardine and see you Saturday. So that gives a sort of clue that I might actually know John personally. Yeah, I thought you might be on a Tullibardine. What else have we got going on here? David Rose, here's one for you. I got a Bunnahabhain. I don't even know how to say that, David. And I was going to ask you how to pronounce that. Don't know that one. Obviously, I know Bunnahabhain, but not that one. Tell me more. Matt got a Copper Fox Rye on the go. God, you guys are drinking properly tonight. Paul, you got a Glenturret. You know that we've done some stuff with Glenturret over the last few years, haven't we? And Ardmore for Cat. What's going on here? A Stag Junior, of course. Michael Nolan's got a Stag Junior because Michael won our whiskey competition last week. He chose from our prize library a Stag Junior, which I'm assuming he picked up this afternoon because I know that it took a circuitous route to get to him. Let us know if it's worth it. What I do know, if everybody else out there is sort of interested, Stag Junior I think is 63%. Am I right? 63% alcohol in proof, 126%. Just correct me if I'm wrong there, Michael, but I know it's right up there, so that unless you've got some water or something in there, that's probably blowing your mind right now. All right, so Michael won our whiskey competition last week. Let's start with our winners for our whiskey competition this week. Look, by the way, if you are not an actual member of Dream Whiskies, it doesn't stop you joining in this stuff we do every Wednesday night, but you're missing the chance to win some cracking whiskies, plus all sorts of other things that are on the go for our members, including our whiskey cocktail course, which I'm about to make an announcement about. But first, our winners for last week's whiskey competition, in other words, the competition that runs from Tuesday midnight right the way back to Tuesday midnight. So finished last night, and that was our week 19 winner. Don't think I've ever seen this person on here, so I'm probably going to have to send this person an email. But the winner this week is Rob Mills, or Robert Mills. If you're there, make yourself known, put a comment in there. If you're not, I guess you don't know that you won yet, and I'll let you know tomorrow. So that was Rob Mills. Now, our spot prize giveaway, which is another members thing, which normally I ask some questions at the end of the broadcast, and then you have to go to the website to do the multiple choice and win the prize. Actually, we were so sort of caught up last week with the Father's Day whiskey tasting set that I forgot to mention it. It didn't stop any of you entering, I have to say, but I forgot to mention it. The prize was this. Let me see if I can find it. The prize was this. It was an up-to-date version of the Savoy Cocktail book. So the Savoy Cocktail book, a legendary, iconic and Art Deco piece of work from 1930, written by Savoy head bartender Harry Craddock. If you've got an original copy, and I've had a couple of them over the years, they're worth a fortune. Unfortunately, I don't have any right now, but this book still has all the artwork, all the wonderful recipes. It's just not worth a fortune. But the winner of that spot prize from last week is Matthew Norfolk. Matthew Norfolk. I don't know Matthew. I don't know if you're Matthew from Norfolk. I think you're Matthew Norfolk from somewhere else. But again, if you're there, say hi. Let us know what's going on. Gary, what's up? Gary's with us on the Penderyn Madeira. At least that's something I can pronounce. Some congratulations going on. Is that a gnome sitting on the shelf behind you? So the wife's got in already, right? You mean this? Thank you very much. Okay, that's the first sabotage of the evening, I think. First sabotage of the evening. Yeah, okay, so I don't even want to look around the rest of the bar to see what you've done. Looks like Joanna has joined us. Hi, Joe, if you're there. A number of congratulations going on. All right, look, so here's my announcement. So for anyone that actually becomes a member of Dream Whiskies, you get all sorts of benefits, as you know. It means that we give away these bottles of whiskey, fabulous bottles of whiskey, every single week, but only if you're a member, so you can't be in the draw of the competition unless you're a member. So you get that. You get the opportunity for spot prize. There's various discount codes that we give. Obviously, we do these broadcasts, but anyone can watch those. But the other thing that you get is that once you have been a member for 3 months, you get free access to our brand new whiskey cocktail online course. Now, this is an online course which is part of a series of new cocktail courses that I have filmed, and they sell to a broad audience of people who love cocktails and who are either home mixologists or professional bartenders and mixologists. So this sort of top-end training, but accessible for everyone. The whiskey course is one that I am giving to members that have been members for 3 months or more. So if you are a member for 3 months or more, which actually most of you who joined up in February have now got to that stage, you will be getting this. So that course, I finished filming and editing this week, is just going live. If you are a member and have been for 3 months, you will be getting a private code and link to let you sign up for that course for free. It's normally £60, right? So it's a £60 course, which, by the way, is more than a year's worth of membership at Dream Whiskies. That's without the competitions or anything. So can't say fairer than that. If you want a piece of the action, you know what to do. Sign up, go to the website, become a member, and win yourself some whiskey while we're at it. So I'll be in touch with you guys who are members and let you know more about that. But yes, and by the way, in a week or two's time, I've got some opportunities coming up for actually everyone if they want to try and make some money with Dream Whiskies. But I will come back to that shortly, in about a week or two. All right, what are we going to do now? So we have our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition running as ever. So we're going to have competitions between, or rather questions between our various different cocktails. 3 really cool cocktails coming up, including the mix with me at the end. So just to remind you, If you want to do the mix with me at the end of this broadcast, you need four things, five actually, but four main ingredients. So one is whiskey, of course. Then you need some coffee. Doesn't matter if it's cold, can be hot, but it's okay if it's cold. So whiskey, coffee, vodka, and Bailey's or another Irish cream. And then I also said if you can get hold of it, a maraschino cherry, because we're going to use that as well as part of the recipe. But if you don't have the cherry, it doesn't matter. We also have two other pretty cool cocktails coming up, and we're going to get to the first one of those soon. But before we do, we're going to go into our first three questions of our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. So just to remind you, we run this little quiz through our broadcasts every week, and the person with the best score at the end becomes our Whiskey Geek of the Week, goes into our Whiskey Geek, what we call it, Hall of Fame on our website. Plus, we stick you up on the Facebook page as well. People say nice things to you like, my goodness, aren't you a geek? And stuff like that you would want if you were a Whiskey Geek of the Week. But last week's winner, who also won the whiskey competition, he was winning everything last week, Michael Nolan, actually suggested to me a couple of things which I'm going to put out to you. And you can come back to me with your thoughts on this. He suggested two things. One is that last week he won Whiskey Geek of the Week for the third time. And he said, I think maybe once you hit 3, you should retire. Maybe, I don't know if permanently or not, but for a while, give other people a little shot at it. So what do you think? Maybe, I know that he's retiring out of it. He's just going to do it for fun now. Yeah, because he's like super geek with the whole whiskey knowledge. So what do you think of that? Do you think you should retire it once you hit 3? And the other thing he said is that maybe you should ask the winner of Whiskey Geek of the Week to prepare the questions for the following week. Now, from my point of view, that sounds like a reasonable idea because it just takes a little bit off of what I have to do every week. But is that something you would like to do if you were a winner of Whiskey Geek of the Week? It seems like a lot, but Michael put it up there, so I thought I'd put it out to you. Right, before I go into the first questions, see what else. Oh, Matt Norfolk is there. He's there. You're on. I can't even remember last time I saw you, Matt. Maybe you're not on live so often, but congratulations to you. Savoy Cocktail Book. I don't know if you got it. It is a great book. If you're only ever going to have one cocktail book in your life, and it's none of mine that I've written, which of course would come first, then that is the book to have. What else have we got here? Winners. Lots of chat. Michael Wick, 20 competitions. Question second, I found 3 different answers on 3 different blogs Googled. Michael, what are you talking about? Week 20 competition. I haven't asked the questions yet. Not quite sure what you mean, Michael. Unless you mean last week's spot prize competition. Unless I've already updated the... Don't think I've updated the spot prize for this week yet. I'm not sure, Michael. But anyway, we can deal with that. If there are different answers, we'll get around that. But let's start with our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. First round, as you know, 3 questions. And actually, it's become really popular over the last few weeks. So I'm sticking with it because people are sending me notes saying that they quite like this bit. I give you anagrams. You got to work them out and tell me which whiskey which whiskey distillery they are. Okay, so 3 questions. You can write these down. And in actual fact, I would suggest you write them down. I'm just going to give you a second or two to get yourself a pen and some paper or some other means of writing something down. Cheers again, by the way. Okay, that's long enough. Here we go. Question number 1. The first anagram. I want to know which whiskey stroke distillery is this. It is Galar Snuggles. Galar, if you're Australian, Galar Snuggles. Always sounds better, even if you've got a really poor Australian accent. So Galar Snuggles, that's Gallah. That's Galar. And then Snuggles, Snuggles. Galar Snuggles, that's the first one. Which whiskey is that? Second one is Air Bench. Air Bench. Air is A-I-R and Bench is B-E-N-C-H. That is an anagram of which whiskey? Which whiskey? And question 3. Anagram, again, which whiskey is this? Redwoods Forever. Redwoods Forever. That's R-E-D-W-O-O-D-S. Redwoods. And Forever. F-O-R-E-V-E-R. There you go. If you're lucky, Cheryl might actually pop those up in the text for you just in case you need to write those down. But yes, good. All right, so that's that. Now let's get, I almost forgot what I was going to do. Now let's get into our first cocktail of the evening. And the first cocktail of the evening I see has been renamed by my wife, but I remember exactly what it is. And I'm going to make you something called a Gingerbread Sazerac. Now let's get this glass out of the way for a second. So a Sazerac, I often refer to a Sazerac as a real bartender's drink. It's one of those sort of strange techniques for making it. A lot of bartenders, if you say to them, "Can you make me a Sazerac?" they're really not sure what you should be doing or how you should make it. But it's a cracking drink. When it was originally invented, it was a cognac drink. It turned into an American whiskey drink, specifically rye. And these days, well, I mean, I generally make them with American whiskey, but I'm making it with our Ben Riach tonight. So this is how you make our gingerbread Sazerac. The first thing you do is you take a glass. You're actually going to need 2 of these glasses, but I'm going to put 1 to the side. And into this glass, I'm going to put a little bit of ice, actually a fair bit of ice, now I think about it. And then in this little bottle, I've got some absinthe. So absinthe is like an anise, pastis, Pernod, Ricard, that sort of thing, ouzo even. So aniseed though, but absinthe tends to be much stronger, and in the old days had something in it called wormwood, which apparently made you hallucinate. So they banned it, and now they brought it back without the wormwood. Now what you've got in here, I've put in about sort of 20 ml, 25 ml of our absinthe. I'm going to stir it around the glass with the ice. So there's 2 reasons why I'm doing this. One is that I want to coat the inside of the glass with the absinthe. And the second, actually, is that I want to chill the glass down. This is a really effective way of chilling the glass down. So just stir it a little bit more. This is good. The smell coming off of it is pow. You know, if you've ever been to Greece or Turkey or those sort of countries or any of the Greek or Turkish islands, and you have something like raki or ouzo, then that's the sort of smell that you get. But I'm just going to put that to the side now. We're going to let that rest. Now, next thing I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take our glass and I'm going to put in a sugar cube. Actually, I'm going to put in 2 sugar cubes. And then I'm going to add some bitters. But it's none of the bitters that you've seen me use before. It's not Angostura, it is this. It is Peychaud bitters. I just realised I've got the light quite close on me tonight, so it's not easy for you to see. How's that? There you go. Okay, it's better. Peychaud's bitters. So Peychaud was invented by a Creole apothecary based in New Orleans around about the early 1800s. His name was Antoine Amédée Peychaud. And these were named after him. And his bitters are very different to other bitters. They're red for a start, but they also smell completely different. The aroma and the flavour is different. There's actually quite a bit of anise and aniseed that comes through. And they are specifically named for this drink. So if you make any kind of Sazerac with Angostura bitters, it's really not the same. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a couple of splashes on the sugar in my glass. There we go. You see? See what I mean about the red? Let's just hold that up. Can you see that? So it's a red colour bitters and a very different flavour and aroma. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a tiny little bit of our whiskey and just splash it onto the sugar. I just want to get that sugar wet. And then I'm going to take, and this is what's going to make our Sazerac into a gingerbread Sazerac, and that is I have this wonderful gingerbread syrup, which is amazing, and I'm going to put about 7 ml of that, so just over a teaspoon of that in there. Well, I can just even standing back here, I can feel like the burn of the gingerbread. I'm definitely overwhelmed by the aroma of it. So I'm going to take the end of this spoon and I'm going to break up the sugar into the little bit of whiskey, obviously the bitters and the syrup in there, and I'm making a kind of a paste. I don't know if you can see from there, but I'm making kind of a paste. It smells amazing, by the way. All right, let's put this down here. Actually, I'm just going to leave that in there. I'm now going to add some ice to our glass. We're going to take our whiskey and we're going to add 50 ml. There we are. And then maybe another 10. Let's get it up to 60 ml. That's good. Okay, very nice. Now we get to the point where we bring these flavors together. So, and by the way, these two glasses, this is exactly how they would have done it in the sort of early 1800s when this drink was invented. So, stir everything together, bring in the sugar, those Pistachio bitters, obviously our gingerbread syrup as well, and our whiskey together. And of course the ice is slightly diluting it and chilling it as well. This is good. All right, and this is where the whole thing comes together. You take your glass with the ice and the absinthe in it, and you throw everything away. You shake it out. And what you're left with is an absinthe rinsed, chilled glass. You then take a strainer over the other glass and you pour that into your absinthe rinsed glass. It will never come up above halfway. Often it's just a third of the way up as well. And this rather unremarkable looking drink is what a Sazerac looks like. No ice, no full glass, it's always sitting in the bottom really low. The last thing we do is we take a lemon, take a little bit of peel, like this. Let's cut that out. I'm going to squeeze the peel over the surface so that we've got lemon oils in there, and then I'm going to drop that in. And that is our gingerbread Sazerac. What do you think? If you've never seen a Sazerac before, you're probably thinking, wow, it just looks like somebody's poured a little bit of whiskey into a glass. They don't look impressive, but that's why I say it's a real bartender's drink, because bartenders know that you've got to get the technique right to make it work. Whereas people who don't really know what it is think, hey, just a little bit of whiskey. Wow, the gingerbread works amazingly well. Now, I'm going to put that there, but I don't think anyone's coming in to get that one this week, because that's not in her range. I'm not saying that she's not going to come in and steal it and then put it back, but I don't think that's for her. You know who I'm talking about, but we've got two other cocktails coming up this evening that are definitely for her. So what have we got here? Lots of chat. Hey, the suggestions sound great. Good call, Michael. Okay, so David's up on that thing. Good idea for the winner to set the question, says Dave as well. Well, listen, guys, if you like that, I'm really happy with that. Lots of thumbs up. Holly is with us. Hey, Holly, what's up? How you doing? Not working. I would have thought you're still working at this time of the evening, you know, painting walls and stuff like that. Sergeant Major got you running around the house. What a waste, what a waste. What a bloody waste of absinthe, says Michael Nolan. It's sort of part of the game, right? Who throws away alcohol? This is a major ongoing problem with my wife. So, what's going on? Bob is with us, but late today. All right, good. So that's the game. That's the game. What can I say? I'm just a messenger, right? I didn't invent it. I'm just some guy 150 years on that's trying to share how it works with you. I'm purely the messenger. Messenger always gets shot. There we go. All right. Let's move on to the next three questions in our Whiskey Geek of the Week. So those first three questions are worth 1 point each. Second three questions also worth 1 point each. Now, you're going to have to forgive me because I know that some of you struggle with some of my questions. Other people actually find them quite easy. So I've sort of upped a few of them. I mean, it's only for fun. Anyway, fun and obviously bragging rights. But let's see whether I position these okay. So the next three questions are all on cocktails. And here we go. So question 4. Oh my goodness me. I think I'm even blushing here. Yeah. So question has been badly sabotaged by my wife. So the question is, what do you call... Don't guess, whatever you do, don't guess what she's put here. Question 4. What do you call a whiskey sour with egg white in it? So traditionally, a lot of people have egg white in a whiskey sour, but traditionally a whiskey sour is not egg white. It's whiskey, lemon juice, sugar. That's it. When we put egg white in it, it actually has another name. It's a name that we use internationally. Do you know what it is? That's the question. What do you call a whiskey sour with egg white in it? All right. That's for 1 point. Question 5, as I'm just trying to get my composure. Let me just check what's written here. Yeah, all right, we're good. So question 5 is about the Mint Julep. So I guess you all know that the Mint Julep is a American whiskey-based drink, primarily Kentucky bourbon type drink, but it wasn't always the case. When the mint julep was invented, it was actually invented and based on a different spirit. It wasn't whiskey. What was it? What spirit was a mint julep based on when it was originally invented? 1 point for that. That's question 5. Question 6. Okay, I'm now double checking that I'm not going to get thrown by any of these. So question 6 is this. And I think I've made one of these in a previous broadcast, so hopefully you remember this. But question 6 is a boulevardier. A boulevardier is a classic whiskey cocktail, but it's a whiskey version of another classic cocktail, a more famous cocktail. Okay, what is that cocktail? So a boulevardier is a cocktail which is essentially a whiskey version of another very famous cocktail. Very popular cocktail today as well. What is that? All right, good. Let's see what we got here. Bob, Trevor Nichols Turner, hey Trevor, how you doing? I've never seen you blush, darling. Thank you very much. Paul, I can feel the heat from my house. Okay. Yes. All right. Sarah's put the questions up again, saving me. All right. Good. Right. So let's move on to our next cocktail. Our next cocktail is called a Raspberry Rico. Raspberry Rico after Puerto Rico. And the reason why I've called it a Raspberry Rico after Puerto Rico is because one of the ingredients in this. Now, this drink is going to go into one of these glasses. Some people call this a hurricane. I've always called it a Poco or a Poco Grande. They've got different names all over the world, but yeah, it's going to go into pina colada type glass. So I can't remember actually whether I told you this. I've spent so much time over the last month or so standing behind this bar talking to a camera. Not necessarily live like I'm talking to you, but just sort of recording stuff. That I've sort of lost track of what I've said to you and what I've just recorded for other things. But I've got this amazing ingredient called Coco Lopez, which is really the only coconut cream that you should use to make a pina colada. If you use any kind of other coconut cream, then what happens is you get a coconutty drink, absolutely, but it's just not the same. It's not the same as they make in Puerto Rico. So I've got quite a bit of that stuff here because it was kindly donated by the Coco Lopez people for the videos that I was making. So I'm going to take a little bit of it now and use it in this next drink that we are calling a Raspberry Rico. So shake and drink, and quite a lot of ingredients to go in here. So the first thing that I'm going to put in is actually our Coco Lopez. And it's very different to how, if you open a can, for example, of coconut cream or coconut milk to put in some Thai curry, which is very milky and very white. This is different. It's kind of grey and syrupy and slightly coagulated, very sugary. And I'm anyway putting in a whole 50 ml of that, which tastes absolutely delicious and masses of calories as well. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 35 ml of our whiskey. So the good thing about the whiskey that I got on the go here is that, very sort of Speyside-y in character, which means it's light and sweet and fruity and just sort of goes well with these flavors as well. Next thing that I'm going to add is some raspberries. Now, I've got here a raspberry puree. And what I did was I took a handful of raspberries, I think about 10 or 12. I blended them up really, really fine, and then I sieved them. So I took all those little seeds out because you get the seeds in the cocktail. Really doesn't work so well. So you've got to take the time to sieve it out. Alternatively, you can just sort of buy some puree, and they've already done that for you. But again, I'm going to go right the way up here, and I'm going to go for 50 ml of our raspberry puree. Just to be aware, if you're doing this with fresh raspberries, which is what we've got here, they're pretty sharp. So it's not the same as putting in, I don't know, canned raspberries, which have got sugar in them and they're sweet. These are really quite sharp. And they go very well with all the other sweet ingredients that I'm putting in. All right, next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to add some juice. And we're going to start with some pineapple juice. And let's get the pineapple juice in there. So I'm going to put 60 ml of pineapple juice. So I've got a 50 and then another 10. That's good. And then I'm going to add some orange juice as well. And the orange juice is going to be 35 ml. So just over half. Here we are. It's starting to build up in this glass. But I have to say, you need a lot to go and fill that. Now we've got 2 more syrups. So it sounds like it's going to be horrendously sweet. But actually, because of the sharpness that comes from those raspberries, it's really not going to be as sweet as you think. So I'm going to put in, I was going to say 7, but I think 5. So a teaspoon of grenadine. Like so, and then I have this other fabulous syrup back here, which is this green colour. Obviously the green colour is going to get lost, but it's a pistachio syrup, and amazing. I mean, just who even thinks about doing these sorts of things? And again, I'm going to put 5 ml of that in as well. There we go. Good. So now we have all our ingredients. Let's put that back. Actually, no, we don't have all our ingredients. Wow, losing track of what's going on. Last thing that's going to go in to support the raspberries that are in there is some framboise, creme de framboise or raspberry liqueur, and I want 25 ml of that in there. So let me just get that to 25. Okay, that's good. There we go. Now we are done. So get this on the back, loads and loads of ingredients, but sometimes cocktails are at their absolute best when there's 2 or 3 in there. Occasionally it takes 6, 7, 8 to really make a quite fabulous drink, and that's what we've done in this case. So I'm going to get all of this into our shaker, and then we're going to give it a really good shake. All right, that's already sounding very good. So I'm going to get my hurricane. Now I'm not actually sure how much ice, if any, I'm going to need in here. So I'm going to strain this in first, and I may add a little bit of ice on the way. There we go. So you can see it's got this sort of wonderful pink colour. Yeah, we can definitely get some ice. So I'm just going to bring some ice in from here. There we go. That's good. All right, we're good. The ice should have gone in the first place. Garnish. Well, actually garnish, I'm just going to keep it really, really simple. I've got a lime over here. So to show you that I have a lime here, I'm just going to very quickly take a wheel off of that, and what we mean by a wheel is a little circle like so, and we're just going to pop it over there. And the reason why I've used this lime wheel is, see, for me these are really old-fashioned garnishes. It's the sort of thing that actually, quite frankly, if you know, modern mixologists were making cocktails, they wouldn't go anywhere near a lime wheel, but I like it because the drink is kind of old-fashioned as well. So I'm just going to take our straw and, whoa, God, I didn't even get to try it. Do you want this? There we go. Straw gone, drink gone. I have no idea whether she's going to like it. I'm getting the feeling she will. It's sort of sweet and coconutty and creamy. You will find out soon enough, because a comment will come flying up here, I'm sure. All right, where are we? Saw Coco Lopez last week. Yeah, I popped it in another drink. I know I popped in another drink. Yeah, I remember that now. Okay. It's a bit like egg white. Well, as in looking. Bet this one disappears, says Simon. Simon, I don't think you won the bet, right? Sounds amazing. Can't wait for this one. Marco, so just joined. Who won last week's competition? Last week's competition, Mark, was, who was it? Let's just check. Let's have a quick look here. Remind myself. Was Rob Mills. Sorry, Mark, it wasn't you, but thanks for asking. I'm sure your time's going to come. Honestly, our sort of membership level is still sort of kind of low, so everyone that's members got, honestly, really great chances of winning. Kieran, Satterley, that looks good and sounds good. Well, I'm not sure if Cheryl's put any comments now. Woo, yeah, it's off-ski, gone. Yeah, history. I didn't even get to try that. I mean, obviously I know what it tastes like, but you know, every time a drink comes out in one of our broadcasts, I feel the need to try it there in front of you, give you my sort of instant reaction. Because it won't have been the first time that I've tried something and then given away the fact that I don't like it at all. All right, anyway, let's move on. And let's move on to the third section of our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. I wonder how you're doing. Let's have a little bit more of my Sazerac here. I do like this. By the way, next cocktail coming up is, of course, our Mix With Me cocktail. So if you're joining in, get everything ready. This is a nice cocktail, actually. It's not dissimilar to a number of other drinks that I've introduced you to, but I just thought, well, let's pull them together and make a kind of hybrid. So hopefully you managed to pull those ingredients together. Anyway, Whiskey Geek of the Week. We've had questions 1 to 6. Here are 7, 8, and 9. All right, we're going Scotch whiskey now, so we're coming away from the cocktails. Question 7. So Scotch whiskey is usually distilled twice. But what I'd like to know is, what are the names of the 2 stills used for the first and second distillations? So that first distillation we call a something still, and then the second distillation we call a something else still. So what are those 2 names? And there are 2 points up for grabs. So if you get both of these, it's 2 points. You get one of them, you get 1 point. Okay, 2 points up for grabs there. Before I give you the next question, who else is talking? Got a smile. I think that's good. Gary saying, what make are your syrups? So they're Giffard. There we go. There we go. Over there. No, I need to hide the light, don't I? There you go. Giffard. Do you know these, Gary? They're cracking range of syrups. And not just the syrups, by the way, but all the liqueurs on the back there as well. Really fantastic. Hello to Marie Hickey. So, Cheryl, I'm not sure. I'm thinking you're saying that's nice. I think using that emoji thing that you've got going on there. That is an emoji, right? I've just made myself look silly. Question number 8. Okay. The middle cut is used to produce the whiskey, while the front end and the back end are not. In other words, when they distill whiskey and the whiskey comes through and it condenses, there's something called the middle cut. That's what they use. And then the first bit that comes through and the very last bit that comes through is not used to make the whiskey. It's either discarded or recycled. Okay, what I want to know is, what are those front and end bits called? All right, and they've got 2 sets of names, so I will accept either of those sets. And there's a point for each, again, so there's 2 points up for grabs here. But what is the front end of that distillation called, and I'll try not to give it away, and the far end of it called? Okay, nearly gave it away. All right. Good, and question 9. So we've so far had 2 questions there that are 2 points, but this one is 1 point. And this is very simple, but if you are a proper whiskey geek, you will know this. And the question is, what is the boiling point of alcohol? I'll take it in either Celsius or Fahrenheit. Don't mind, either one. But what is the boiling point of alcohol? What I can tell you is that it's lower than the boiling point of water. Okay, so what's the boiling point of alcohol? Right, everyone's gone a little quiet here, so I don't know if... Oh, here we go. Cheryl's put up some questions. Yeah, Cheryl's put up the questions. I hope you put up the right questions and not the ones that you... Yeah, good, that's all right. Okay. So, it's Mixed With Me time. Hopefully, some of you are playing along. If you are playing along, if anyone is playing along, because I've started to get the feeling that actually no one does this live anymore. So it doesn't matter, I'm fine with that, because you can mix along with me for anything, really, if you want to. But it'd be nice to know if you are mixing along. So if you are, let me know now. And I'm going to show you what our ingredients are. So we have whiskey. Let's get that out of the way. I've got some Irish cream. Obviously, I'm using Bailey's, as you can see there. And then some vodka. I've got this absolutely amazing vodka called Vestal vodka. Polish potato vodka. It is absolutely world class. I mean, honestly, smooth, sweet, like silk on your palate. And that's without even being chilled. If you just take it warm, room temperature out of the bottle, it's amazing. So Vestal vodka, I've got a whiskey, of course, I've got Bailey's, and then the other thing is coffee, and I have some coffee in here. And like I said to you earlier on, you don't need the coffee to be hot. If it is hot, it's fine, because we're going to chill it down real quick anyway. But if it's cold, that's also good as well. So I'm going to put those ingredients there. And then the other thing that I suggested that you would need is some cherries, or 1 cherry actually. a maraschino cherry, and we're going to try something. I'm not even sure if it's going to work, but we're going to have a little go at the end of the cocktail. Right, any of you talking to me? Gary's just put thank you. Are any of you doing this? Any of you mixing with me? I think no. Right, that's fine. If none of you are, then I will start to crack on and get on with this. Remember, if you don't do it now, but you're watching this on record, or you are watching this now, but you're going to do it later, please send me your photographs. I'm building up a gallery. So I've put a number of your photos up on the website, not on the website, sorry, on our Facebook page, but not all of them, but none of them are being overlooked because they're all going to be going into a home mixologist gallery that I'm going to stick up there. So they will go up. Right, I'm putting it in a martini. If you've got a martini glass of any kind, then great. Otherwise, just put it into whatever you want. So we're going to take our shaker, and the first thing we're going to do, as ever, is add the whiskey. And we're going to go for 25. Actually, I need to give this a rinse because this has still got, from the last cocktail, it's still got, you okay with that? They can't see that. Now they can see that. There we go. I think that's my wife's response to that cocktail. Let's just put that there. I'll call that a thumbs up. What do you reckon? Thumbs up? I think so. All right, let's start again. We're going to start with our whiskey. I'm going for 25 ml of our Ben Riet 10. There we are. Good, 25 ml. Always makes me feel quite confident, actually, when a glass comes back empty, because make no mistake, she doesn't like it. She doesn't soft soap it. It's really clear that she doesn't like it. Then our vodka. Now, a lot of people think, well, why would you put vodka with whiskey? They're so far removed. But actually, vodka really is whiskey to some degree. Vodka is what whiskey is when it comes out of the still. Maybe not with the peat smoking or any of that. But, before whiskey goes into a barrel and ages and picks up the color and changes its character, it is a form of vodka. So they are intimately related. Even though this one, of course, is a potato vodka, which is not as intimately related. But we're going to put the same amount in. This is quite a strong drink. And I've got 25 ml of that. That's really lovely vodka. Then we're going to take our Irish cream. And everyone loves a Baileys. Even if you don't like a Baileys, you can still say everyone loves a Baileys. Certainly enough people love a Baileys for people to think that it's the only Irish cream that's out there, which, of course, it's not. And I'm going high with this, so we're bringing this up to 35. There we are. And of course that continues the connection between the base for this cocktail. Obviously it's a whiskey based liqueur. And then we got some coffee. So I actually made this up earlier. If you've made this up fresh and it is hot, this is fine, because what's going to happen is you'll put it in now, but once you dump the ice in there, it would just bring the temperature right back down instantly. But I've let mine stand for a little bit. And we want a fair bit of coffee in there as well, so I'm going to bring that up to 35 as well. Okay. Now I've called this, actually I need to remind myself what I've called it, because you're going to need, if you're a member, you're going to need to know what this is called. Where are we? I've called this, what did I call this? I actually can't remember what I called it because someone's entirely changed the name. Okay, so I've called this apparently Rosyth's Romance. And Rosyth is a place in Scotland where they have a shipping industry, and also somebody was born there that is very close to me and just absolutely killed that drink as well. So I think you might know who that is. Right, before I go any further, Kat, what are you saying? Would love to, but I have no Bailey's vodka or maraschino. Okay, that's fair enough. Enjoying the show. Are the recipes listed? Slansha. Oh, Andy, I never really write the recipes up. I have to be honest. And maybe I should just post them the following day. Sorry about that. Maybe I'll do that for you. What else? Cheryl just loves Wednesday. Simon saying the wife is lactose intolerant, but I'm working on homemade Baileys with coconut condensed milk. Yeah, you can also do it, depending on how lactose intolerant she is. There is, obviously, homemade Baileys uses things like condensed milk, which I imagine is a total nightmare for your wife. But the other thing you can use is cream. There's a brand, are you in the UK, Simon? I think you might be. There's a brand called Arla. So I have a real problem with lactose, but this is but I can have this sort of stuff. So Arla do a really good cream that I've used in a number of cocktails here. So you can add that to it, and it helps you make that. What's this? Cheryl's saying, think I might take a pew on the other side of the bar next week. Yeah, I think I'm going to get Cheryl back in next week as a guest. So you know, Cheryl was on here about, God, it must be about 7-8 weeks ago now, but I think it's time to get her back. Cheryl, Paul is to Simon. I don't know what that means. Oh, replying to Simon. Paul is to Simon. Oh, I see. There's a comma missing there. Yeah, I think you're saying I'm to Simon, replying to Simon, who was just asking, okay, I've got it. No, I am too, as in as well. What's this? And the Rosyth used to have a naval base. Went there once or twice. Yes, indeed, they did have a naval base. And if my father-in-law is still watching, he worked out at that naval base. He was on one of the ships that went to war from that naval base. Okay, so we've got all our ingredients in here. We've got our whiskey, we have our coffee, we've got our vodka, and we've got our Irish cream, our Baileys, and now we're going to drop some ice into the drink and give it a good shake. Here we go. All right, close that up and shake away. Nicely shaken up. Let's open that baby. There we are. Get my strainer and let's get this into our over tall martini glass. Like I say, if you haven't got a martini glass, that's fine, doesn't matter. You can put it in whatever, just a rocks glass, old fashioned, tumbler, wine glass, anything, water glass. Drink it straight out of your shaker. There we go. All right, that's looking good, looking really good. Now before, and there is a chance that someone might come and get this, I'm going to show you what I'm planning to do. And I'm now realizing that having got this very tall glass, I might have created a problem for myself. But anyway, let's see how this works. So I'm going to take my chopping board. Let's get that in a place where you can see it. Can you see that? I'm going to take a maraschino cherry on a stalk, because I've now got heavily into on the stalk maraschino cherries. Let's pop that there. And I'm going to slice this really fine. So you need quite a sharp knife to do this, by the way, but I just want really fine slices of cherry. Because if you slice them fine enough, you can lay them on the surface of the drink. I think I might have to pick up my laptop. So can you see what I've got here? I've got these fine slivers. There we go. And I'm going to just try and drop those on there like little lily pads. Can you see? You can't see. I'm going to have to lift this up. Let's just do that. You've got to drop them flat, otherwise they will disappear underneath. Right, let's get this out of the way. Now before this gets stolen, because I can tell you just out of camera shot, someone is hovering. I'm going to bring this in. I'm just going to lift this up like so. And there you go. So that's what happens. If you cut those cherries fine enough, you can just lay them on the surface of the drink like so. And then we are good. So that is our Mix With Me cocktail, called apparently a Rosyth Romance, and I did have another name for it, but I just can't remember what it is, and it was completely obliterated by someone else, but there you go. So that is, and how many of you made that, by the way, just out of interest? Oh, there it is. It's gone. So how many of you made that? I don't think any of you did, but if any of you do it subsequently, you know the game, take a photograph, send it to me, let me know how you're getting on. Simon's saying he uses Arla products. Good, good. Yes, my dad was in the Navy, says Cheryl. Lubka, how you doing? Paul, I will mix it later and send you a picture. Thank you, Lubka. You are always a good one. Oh, I've had a thumbs down, by the way, on that. I'm going to guess that coffee did it. I'm not sure, but I think I got a thumbs down. Or maybe maybe it's the vodka, or maybe she just didn't like it, which happens. Paul was in the Navy as well. I wonder if Paul was out of Ross Eye. What's this? Matt is saying looks awesome. It is awesome. It's a bit, if you like an espresso martini, it's sort of down that line, but probably a little bit stronger, I should think. That looks nice. Nice. I'll try it at the weekend. Cheryl's saying too strong. Yes, of course, too strong. So Cheryl likes cocktails, and actually the secret to a lot of cocktail success is the fact that even if they are strong, they don't taste it. But then you get other cocktails like these sort of more martini styles, which are unavoidably strong on the palate. But hey, trust me, tastes amazing. Lubka's going to mix it and send one in. Any of the rest of you, please send it in to me as well. All right, how are we doing? Let's see. Where are we? We come to the last part of our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition before we find out who is actually going to go up into our Whiskey Geek Hall of Fame for this week. So 3 more questions, and then we're going to go through the answers. If you've not done this before, I give you the answers. You have to mark your own and be honest, right? Honest with your score. It looks like to me, you've all been honest over the last few weeks. David Rose is going to try this tomorrow. Cheryl's saying the coffee killed it. Okay, coffee killed it. But she likes an espresso martini, so interesting there. All right, here we go. Question number 10. I would like to know, what is the minimum allowable percentage of corn that can be used in the production of bourbon? So the minimum allowable percentage of corn, that looks really dangerous for you to Thank you very much. Okay, I'm just going to take that back. There we go. So, in other words, in the production of bourbon, for it to legally and officially be bourbon, it has to have at least how much corn in the recipe, and that's the minimum. So, what is that percentage? 1 point for that. Let me try this myself. I even put the cherries in for her. Oh, no, I can't drink that. Oh, I'm in trouble with myself. Whoa. Bailey's in there. That's not good for me. Okay, anyone? Any of you feel sorry for me? Right, if I'm not doing this next week, I'm still suffering from the fact that I've just drunk some Baileys. Ah, dear, that was a very silly thing to do. Tasted good though. Tasted good. All right, question number 11. Scotch whiskey is aged in a variety of pre-used barrels. They include, but not limited to, sherry, port, bourbon barrels. But by law, what kind of barrel must bourbon be aged in? What kind of barrel? Has to be one specific type of barrel. No others. Scotland, all sorts of barrels. That's question number 11. And one more question before we then go back and start to find out who is our Whiskey Geek of the Week for week 20. And I would like to know, and this is a multiple choice by the way, what percentage of the world's bourbon is produced in Kentucky? So just so that you're clear, you don't have to produce bourbon in Kentucky. You know, bourbon can be produced and is produced all over the United States in various different places. But what percentage of the world's bourbon is produced in Kentucky? Is it A, 75%? Is it B, 85%? Or is it C, 95%? So, is it A, 75, B, 85, or C, 95%? So that is the end of our Whiskey Geek of the Week competition. In a second we're going to go back over the answers and we're going to find out which one of you is getting yourself here. What we do know is it's not going to be Michael Nolan because Michael has retired. He's a 3-time winner. He even had his picture in a sort of gold bar frame this week as a 3-time winner. So he's retired. It doesn't mean he can't play. It just means that he won't be our Whiskey Geek of the Week. Hopefully he won't make us all feel bad by beating everybody else and then not taking the title. Dave, We'll take Cheryl's advice and use less coffee. Sure. I think actually, Dave, it's probably not so much a question of less coffee, but maybe less strong. So you probably need that amount of liquid in there, but maybe not quite strong. I had a pretty strong espresso in there, so maybe just sort of take the edge off of that. All right, here we go. Let's find out who our Whiskey Geek of the Week is for this week. So remember, this week's score, 12 questions, but a couple of them have 2 points, so it's out of 14. Your score is out of 14. Here we go. Question 1. I said to you, Galar Snuggles. Galar Snuggles is an anagram of which whiskey? Actually, it's this whiskey. Glenglassaugh. I'm looking for Glenglassaugh. There you go, Galar Snuggles. Question 2. Air bench. Air bench. Did you get it? It's been in your face all day. All night. Ben Riach. Ben Riach. Okay, and Redwoods Forever. Question 3. Redwoods Forever is an anagram of Woodford Reserve. Love that one. Don't you think that's a cool anagram? Woodford Reserve. Okay, so that's questions 1, 2, and 3. It's 1 point for each of those. Question 4. I said to you, what do you call a whiskey sour with egg white in it? So a whiskey sour with egg white in it is called a Boston sour. Okay, in the cocktail world, cocktail industry, right the way around the world, we call it a Boston sour. You can say I want a whiskey sour with egg white in it, but it's got its own name. It's a Boston sour. If you've got Boston sour, it's 1 point for you. Dave, some tough ones this week, especially the cocktail ones. Try to make them a little bit tougher because you guys are just, your knowledge is too good. Question 5. A mint julep wasn't always a whiskey-based cocktail. Originally, it was made using what other spirit? Actually, it was brandy. So brandy, the first mint juleps were made using brandy, and in actual fact, there's a mint julep called a southern mint julep, which is a mixture of brandy and peach brandy as well. But yes, brandy is the answer. If you said brandy or cognac, that's fine, but brandy is 1 point for you. And then question 6, and I'm pretty sure I did make this cocktail for you some time ago, but I might be wrong about that, of course. I said a boulevardier is a whiskey version of which other cocktail? Boulevardier. It's a whiskey version of a Negroni. So Negroni is a combination of gin with sweet vermouth and Campari. A Boulevardier is whiskey with sweet vermouth and Campari. But it's not simply a switching of spirits. It is a very different drink. And you guys, you girls, as whiskey drinkers, would love a Boulevardier, assuming you like Campari, of course. That's 1 point if you got that. Question 7. Matt, what are you talking about? Woodford Reserve is a favourite amongst me and my brothers. Matt, nice to see. Actually, I have to say, the Woodford Reserve bottle is also one of my favourites. I just like that sort of enlarged hip flask look about it. But yeah, where are you from, Matt? Are you UK or US? Yeah, where am I sending your prize, actually? Question 7. Yes, question 7. Okay. So I said Scotch whisky is usually distilled twice. What are the names of those 2 stills? So there's 2 points up for grabs here. So normally, sometimes 3 times Scotch whisky, but on the whole it's twice. So the first still that it goes into is called a wash still. A wash still. So you get a point if you got that. And then the second still is called a spirit still. So you get 1 point if you said wash still, another 1 point if you said spirit still. And congratulations if you got that. Dave, cheers. I do actually drink double espresso most of the time. Okay, cool. Well, let us know how you get on with that. Definitely a case of you got to pitch it right. You know, you can have 10 people in the room that likes coffee, but you might like coffee at different strengths and different levels. Yeah, it's always a real balancing act. But do let us know how you get on. Cheryl saying you'll like it then, just me. Matt, UK. Matt, you're not in Norfolk, are you? Or are you? Are you in Norfolk? All right, question 8. I said the middle cut is used to produce whiskey. The middle cut of the distillation is used to produce whiskey, whereas the first bit, the front end of it, and the last bit, the back end of it, are either discarded or recycled, depending on whose distillery you're in. But what are they called, those front ends and back ends? So either foreshot and feint. So foreshot is the front end, feint is the rear end, or heads and tails. So if you got foreshot and feint, it's a point for each. If you said heads or tails, it's a point for each. So a maximum of 2 points up for grabs there. Okay. Question 9. I said, what is the boiling point of alcohol? You don't have to get it to the point, but just so if you said 78 degrees Celsius, or 173 degrees Fahrenheit. Exactly, apparently, is 78.37 C and 173.1 Fahrenheit. But yeah, if you got that, you get yourself a point. All right, question number 10. I asked you what is the minimum allowable percentage of corn that can be used in the production of bourbon. It cannot be called a bourbon unless you have a minimum of 51% corn. 51% is what we're looking at. 51%. Good job. Question 11. Scotch whisky aged in a variety of pre-used barrels, including sherry, port, bourbon barrels, ex-bourbon barrels. But by law in America, what kind of barrel must bourbon be aged in? Okay. It has to be new oak barrels. Has to be new. Brand new oak barrels. Charred oak barrels. So in America, that's why so much Scotch whiskey is aged in American ex-bourbon barrels, because they use it for one aging in America. Then they get shipped to shipped over to the the east coast of Scotland. Yeah, so they just get shipped over, and it's quite a sight actually. I mean, I've seen, obviously not as barrels, they get taken apart and then they get reconstructed when they're back in Scotland. But all those staves, I've seen them in enormous lots, just millions and millions of ex-bourbon barrel staves all piled up ready to be reconstructed for Scotch whisky. It's quite something actually. 1 point if you got charred new oak barrels. And then the last question I asked you is, what percentage of bourbon is produced in Kentucky? So Kentucky, the home of bourbon, but how much of the world's bourbon do they produce? Bearing in mind that it's produced other places as well. So is it A, 75%, B, 85%, C, 95%? The answer is C. 95% of all bourbon is produced in Kentucky. That's it. Whiskey Geek of the Week competition is over. That is 12 questions down, 14 points up for grabs. Please total up your score and let us know how well you've done. If you have the highest score, then you will be our Whiskey Geek of the Week for this week. If you are in a tie break with somebody else or other people, so more than one other people, there will be a tie break question. Let's see how you're doing. What is this? The Bunnahabhain tonight, Ada means smoky times 2. What, like super, real peaty bomb, yeah? Okay, Kaz got 14. Kaz is a previous winner. David Rose, does white oak count for question 11? Yeah, I'll give you that. Definitely give you that, for sure. Matt, you got 10. Kaz has got 14. Honestly, Kaz, that is... I really thought I'd put some questions in there that would sort you out a bit this week. Kieran got 10. Paul Slade got 7. Simon 8. 2 better than last week. Good job, Simon. Pleased to see it. Paul Musson, 10 points for me tonight. Really struggled with a few of them. Well, I was trying to get you to struggle, but I seem to have got most of you to struggle apart from Kaz. Cheryl was saying, well done, Kaz, top of the class. Well, you definitely can't be beaten. All that we can have is someone that is in a tie break with you, but... looking good for you at the moment, Kaz. Barry Bullock, 8, but I'm really annoyed that I discarded head and tail. Raymond Hunter, 10. 10's a good score. I really didn't think anyone was going to get over 10. Wow. David Rose, how did you do in the end? So I gave you that question there for question 11. That's cool. 12. Wow. David, I honestly thought 12 was going to be a winning score tonight. Kaz, you've excelled yourself. Last chance for people to come in with any other scores and see if they've done as well as Kaz. Not sure if they have. It doesn't look like it. So what do we think? Quite a few people gave a thumbs up to the idea of the winner doing the questions for next week. Don't worry, Kaz, I'm not going to put it in right now. We're just sort of getting agreement with everyone before we establish that as the rule. But is that a general yes? If anyone thinks no, they don't like the idea of it. In other words, they wouldn't want to win and then have to have the responsibility of doing it. I think we could do it another way, that we give the winner the option to write the questions if they want. And if they do, then great. And if they don't, then I will do the job as usual. Maybe we can do it that way. But let me know what you think. Either put some comments there, or actually just, you've all got my email address, so just drop me an email and let me know what you think. Okay, so I didn't actually tell you the prize, or did I? God, I'm really losing things tonight. I didn't tell you the prize for this week's Spot Prize members competition, did I? Spot Prize competition for this week, and the questions are coming up just in a second, is this. It is a 10-piece cocktail mixing set. So we've given away a cocktail mixing set before. It proved to be really popular with the winner, and actually quite a few people said they would like to win that. So I've done the same this week as a 10-piece set. So they got some spirit pourers, you've got a bar blade, you've got a bar spoon, you've got your shaker, strainer, jigger, and a couple of little metal shot cups. Plus, there's a little leaflet here with 16 cocktail recipes in as well. So really nice little set. Remember, you can only enter this competition, as in you can only enter the whiskey competition, as in you can only get the free access to the whiskey course and all of that if you are a member, a Dream Whiskies member. If you love these broadcasts and you like what we do, we need you to be members. It's not a lot of money. We give you so much more back. Get in there, click on the link, become a member and give yourself a chance of winning this. And remember, just stay with us for 3 months. You get that £60 online whiskey cocktail course, which, by the way, is not quite the same as me just sort of doing things and getting it wrong and having my wife steal stuff, but properly getting into the technicalities and the history and everything around 20 great whiskey cocktails. Anyway, this is what's up for grabs. If you're a member, you can click the link and you can answer on our website shortly after this broadcast. I'm going to have to change one of the questions because it was doctored by my wife, but nevertheless, the questions are, who invented Pistachio bitters? So Pistachio bitters, remember I showed you this, the first cocktail that we made, the Gingerbread Sazerac. Who invented those? I did tell you who it was. Did it stick? Did it stick? Remember, you can always rewind and cheat. So, is it cheating if you rewind and watch again? Or is it just good taste? Question 2. What is the name of the coconut cream brand that I used this evening? So I mentioned it a number of times. Cheryl's already told me that I used it last week as well. So what is the name of that coconut cream brand that I used this evening? It's the Ultimate Pina Colada Coconut Cream. What was the Mix With Me cocktail called? Well, the trouble is, it was renamed by my wife and I can't remember what I wanted to call it. So I will update that question. So it means that you might just have to wait for a few minutes after we've come off air for me to update that question. And then finally, what did I actually garnish the Mix With Me cocktail with? What did I garnish it with? So those are those 4 questions. If you're a member, you know how it works. There's a link there. Click on, go to our website and put your answers into our multiple choice question and answer entry panel. If you're not a member, you know what to do. Sign up, become a Dream Whiskies member. We need you to help build our community and keep doing this. I want to do this when I get to 35 years old, which is in another 10 years' time. So I need you to help me to do that. Okay, that was an old person's joke. So look, brilliant job, Kaz. It looks like you are our Whiskey Geek of the Week. Cheryl says, can you turn that cocktail into something I like, please? Yes, I will be doing that as soon as I get off the air. I'll turn it into something that you like. Various congratulations to Kaz. David Rose saying, I'm hoping 12 would win as well. Yeah, I really thought that 12 would just clear everyone out this week. So, but good job, especially considering you did say that you found some of the questions tough. You obviously still got on top of them. Paul says, sounds good to that. Paul must have more cherries. I don't want it going into the same place as the absinthe. Okay. Give you a dozen or so questions and you decide if you want to use them. That's Michael Nolan. Okay, I'm good with that, Michael. If you're happy to do that, just send them in. Wow, cool prize is for Kaz saying for this week's members spot prize. Good, I'm glad you like that. Wow, what a prize. Lubka as well. I think Lubka, that would be a good one for you to win actually, because I know you do the whole mixology thing pretty much every week with this. So I'll cross my fingers for you. Yes, Paul cherry liqueur, she's saying. So Paul, that's Paul to Paul Musson, I think. Yeah, and it's fun, Paul. Yeah, good. The only true form of alcohol abuse. Lots of chat going backwards and forwards there about alcohol and cherries and stuff like that. Excellent prize, excellent prize. Great show as ever, Paul. Thank you, Gary. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is episode 20, believe it or not, since we turned into a sort of member site. That is the 20th episode of our Wednesday night broadcast. And next week, as a special, it'll be the 21st one. So excellent to see you. Thank you for coming on board. Send in your photographs, enter the competition, sign up if you're not a member. Look after yourself, stay well. I think we're all starting to get a little bit twitchy with the whole lockdown, but encouraged by the fact that we're starting to move out of it a little bit, which is good. I hope you are all staying well and safe. Continue to do so until next week, and I will see you all at 7 o'clock next Wednesday. Take care.